office of the Prime Minister,
Yes.
but in what capacity are you going to be, or as you are now, a minister in the office of the Prime Minister?
Well, that will be revealed in due course. Very happy to serve. Very, very appreciative of the opportunity given to me by the Prime Minister, and appreciate my family for allowing me to serve. I hope I can make a useful contribution at the end of the day, and I would say stay tuned. It will be revealed in due course.
For those who may not be familiar with you,
I would say for the past 20 years, I have been in my own private practice. Before then, I was an assistant registrar of the Supreme Court. I also served as legal executive to a former Attorney General, Mr. Ramesh Lawrence Maraj. That was in 1995, I believe. That's it, basically.
Were you surprised for the appointment, or is this something that was promised to you that was in the works for a while? I know we saw you recently at a UNC press conference right before the election, dealing with the observers that arrived and stuff like that, right? Elections stuff. But tell us, was the conversations like behind the Prime Minister?
Are you still at loggerheads with the EBC?
Well, the loggerheads are not my loggerheads. We had very justifiable complaints in leading up to the elections with the EBC, and I would have spoken then as on behalf of the party, on behalf of the party, on behalf of the party.
Now, you have been assigned to the office of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
Is it that you're not aware what your functions will be? And if that is the case, why did you blindly agree to this position entering politics?
Well, you're jumping 2 steps ahead.
Okay, well,
you're
tell us,
jumping
you are
2
aware.
steps ahead. I am aware, and I told your colleague a few seconds ago, all will be revealed in due time.
Oh, so you are aware, you're just not you're not ready yet to tell the public about it.
Well, that's as clear as I can be.
The curious timing of Darrell Allahar's outcry, a strategic play cloaked in reform. In June 2024, Darrell Allahar, a veteran attorney with over 3 decades of legal experience, suddenly emerged as a vocal critic of the silk appointment process in Trinidad and Tobago. His letter to the Law Association of Trinidad and Tobago, LAT, was not just a polite inquiry, it was a sharp rebuke, accusing the system of being opaque, arbitrary, and riddled with favoritism. Allahar questioned the transparency of the entire process and demanded answers about how candidates were selected, why consultations were seemingly bypassed, and what role the LAT President and Attorney General played in this controversial exercise. At first glance, this might appear to be the principled stand of a man committed to justice and fairness. After all, the awarding of silk, granting the prestigious title of senior counsel, is a critical moment in a lawyer's career and should be beyond reproach. But when we look beyond the surface, the timing and context of Allahar's sudden crusade raise troubling questions about his true intentions. For years, the silk appointment process has been a subject of whispered complaints and quiet dissatisfaction among legal professionals and the public. Yet, Allahar's voice remained conspicuously silent during the previous UNC administration from 2010 to 2015, a period when many appointments were also made under circumstances that some considered questionable. Why did Allahar choose to raise his concerns only in 2024, amid a new political landscape dominated by the PNM government? Why did he not speak out earlier, when the UNC was in power and similar issues may have existed? This glaring silence during the UNC years, followed by a sudden, forceful outcry under the PNM administration, smacks of opportunism. It is difficult not to suspect that Allahar's vocal criticism was less about genuine reform and more about positioning himself strategically within the shifting sands of political power. By championing transparency at a moment when the ruling party's appointments were under intense scrutiny, Allahar effectively cast himself as a reformer and watchdog, an image that would serve him well in the corridors of power. The timing of his intervention was impeccable. His public challenge to the silk process came just months before his own appointment as minister in the office of the Prime Minister in 2025. This sequence of events invites suspicion that Allahar's activism was rewarded, that his concerns were part of a larger political game, a game where speaking out at the right time can open doors that had previously been closed. Moreover, his pointed questions about the role of the LAT President and the Attorney General in the silk selection process seem designed to stir controversy and undermine confidence in existing institutions, just as the government was seeking to consolidate its influence. Was this a genuine call for reform, or a tactical move designed to curry favor with political leaders eager to demonstrate responsiveness to public concerns? The answer may lie in the pattern of his silence during previous administrations and his sudden vocal activism only when it aligned with his political trajectory. For the people of Trinidad and Tobago, this raises a troubling question: can we trust a figure whose calls for fairness emerge only when it suits his ambitions? Is Allahar's image as a crusader for justice nothing more than a carefully crafted facade, masking a shrewd political operator who knows exactly when to raise his voice to gain advantage? In a nation yearning for genuine reform and integrity, such calculated moves only deepen cynicism and erode faith in our institutions. The story of Darrell Allahar's sudden crusade against the silk appointment process is not just about legal procedures, it is a cautionary tale about timing, ambition, and the blurred line between principle and political expediency. It is essential to remember that true reformers speak out consistently, regardless of which party holds power. They do not pick and choose their moments based on personal gain or political wins. Allahar's selective activism, emerging only when it aligned with his political assent, suggests a man more concerned with his own advancement than with the ideals he claims to champion. As citizens, we must remain vigilant and question the motives behind such timely interventions. We deserve leaders and advocates who stand unwaveringly for justice, not those who wield principle as a tool for personal elevation. The legacy of Darrell Allahar's 2024 outcry will be judged not by the words he spoke but by the timing and the consequences that followed. Darrell Allahar's sudden emergence as a vocal critic of the silk appointment process in 2024, precisely when it suited his political ambitions, reveals a troubling pattern of selective advocacy. His silence during earlier administrations, followed by pointed criticism only under the current government, suggests that his actions are driven less by a genuine commitment to fairness and more by calculated loyalty to those in power. In this light, Allahar's public stance appears less like principled reform and more like a strategic move designed to secure favor and advancement within the ruling party. Given this context, it is unrealistic to expect impartiality or fairness from Allahar in his current role. His track record indicates that his loyalty lies not with the ideals of justice or transparency but with the political machinery that elevated him. When personal or party interests are at stake, Allahar's actions are likely to reflect unwavering allegiance rather than a balanced pursuit of truth. This kind of blind loyalty undermines the very foundations of good governance and public trust. Furthermore, Allahar's willingness to raise issues only when politically convenient signals that his advocacy is conditional and transactional. Such behavior erodes confidence in his ability to act as an independent watchdog or reformer. Instead of championing fairness consistently, he appears to prioritize loyalty to his political benefactors, making it clear that his decisions and public statements will align with party lines rather than objective justice. In a democratic society, leaders and officials must be held to standards of integrity and impartiality. Unfortunately, with Darrell Allahar, the evidence points to a different reality, one where blind loyalty trumps fairness and political expediency overrides principle. For the people of Trinidad and Tobago, this means placing little faith in his promises of reform and expecting instead a continuation of partisan allegiance that serves political interests above the common good.